Our star. Our sun is a star. Every star is a sun. Our sun has 8 children, called planets. They circle around their parent, the sun. Our home, Earth, is one of the children. Earth also has a child, called the moon. It is a satellite, and it circles Earth. The sun, its planets, and the planets' satellites are the solar system. Our solar system is part of a collection of billions of stars called a galaxy. Our galaxy is called the Milky Way. We are floating in space as we sit on our home and as we circle our star. Our circle is called an orbit. In our orbit, we are always more or less the same distance away from our star. We cannot fly away into space because the sun has a force called gravity to keep us in orbit all the time. We are lucky. Our distance from the sun makes Earth a good place for life. Our closest neighbors are Mars and Venus, and they have no life. Venus is very hot. Mars is very cold. In our solar system, only the planet Earth is just right for life. But is there life somewhere else in space?
Planet Earth. Planet Earth is shaped like a huge ball. Another word for a ball is sphere. Another word is globe. They mean a round object. If you look at Earth from space, it is mostly blue and white. You may see a little green. The green area is the land, called the continents. The blue is the oceans. The white is mostly clouds, water in Earth's air. It is also white at 2 places opposite each other. They are the poles. They are white because they are snow and ice. They are called the polar ice caps. Earth is tilted. Put an apple on a table. A line between the top and the bottom of the apple is straight up and down. The line between Earth's top and bottom is called its axis. It is not straight up and down. It is always tilted in the same way. As Earth orbits the sun, in part of its orbit, the axis is tilted toward the sun, and in part of the journey, it is tilted away from the sun. This causes the seasons. As Earth orbits, it also rotates on its axis, and this causes night and day. If you put a belt around Earth's middle, it would represent the equator. The equator divides Earth into 2 hemispheres. We call the 2 hemispheres the northern and southern hemisphere.
Rocks and dirt. Look at the picture of the mountain on page 13. Look at the top. It is solid rock. Look at the sides. There are many large and small pieces of rock and some vegetation. At the bottom of the mountain, there is a river. In the river, there are smaller rocks. We call them stones. Very small rocks are called pebbles. Very small pebbles are called sand. The smallest pieces are dust. Sometimes the air is full of dust. The forces of nature, water, wind, and temperature, and the roots of vegetation are stronger than rock. They crack and break rock up into pieces. They grind it into dust. Dust can fly in the air. Ground rock mixes with organic matter, mostly dead plants. The result is soil. It is also called dirt and even earth. Vegetation needs soil to grow in. Humans need soil to grow food. Without good soil and water, there are no farms. There is no agriculture. The rock and dirt that we can see and touch are Earth's crust. Earth's crust varies from 3 to 45 miles thick. In the very center of Earth, there is a core. The inner core is a solid ball of iron and nickel. The outer core is very hot liquid rock. It can move to Earth's crust and erupt as a volcano.
Air. Our home, Earth, a spherical rock, has a skin of liquid water over much of its crust. It also has another skin. It is called the atmosphere. We also call it air. There are different gases in the air. A gas has very little substance. It is not a solid like dirt or iron. But at Earth's surface, the air above us does have some weight. The weight of air on the surface is called air pressure. You cannot see the air that surrounds Earth. It is like an invisible skin. It is a mixture of gases. Most of these gases are within 7 miles of Earth. As you travel away from Earth, the gases disappear and space becomes almost empty. The air we breathe is mostly 2 different gases, nitrogen, N, and oxygen, O. Good clean air is mostly N and O. Air can also have a lot of moisture in it. We say it is foggy. Foggy air can get dirty with smoke. Then we say it is smoggy. Air is all around us. We bathe in air. We swim in air like fish swimming in water. We humans and other animals need to breathe one part of air, the gas called oxygen. If there is no oxygen in the air, we die. Do you know that our atmosphere is changing? We are making it dirty with greenhouse gases, especially carbon gases. Dirty air is like a blanket. Right now, the blanket is thin, but it is getting thicker, and we are getting warmer. This is called global warming. This is a problem. Weather and climate. Everybody talks about the weather, but nobody can do anything about it. However, we can predict the weather. Meteorologists can look ahead a few days. They can predict rain. They are usually right, but not always. In other words, we cannot really control the weather. Weather is a daily event. The daily weather report includes precipitation, rain and snow, and temperature, hot and cold. It also can include humidity, moisture in the air, and wind strength and direction. Relative humidity is a measure of dampness. It is the percentage of moisture in the air compared to the amount the air can hold at that temperature. If the relative humidity is high, people complain that it is muggy. Climate is, in general, the result of 365 days of weather. Over several years, there is an average pattern of weather. We call it the climate. Climates can be hot, cold, wet, or dry. The climate around Earth's belt is called tropical. It is warm all year. There is not much change from season to season. Next to the tropical belt are temperate and continental climatic zones, and near the poles, polar climate. Over long periods of time, climate can change. 10,000 years ago, much of the northern hemisphere was covered with a glacier. a great sheet of ice. Earth's climate has changed throughout its history. However, it now appears that Earth's climate is changing very rapidly. This change is called climate change, and we are causing that change. It appears we can't change today's weather, but we can change our climate.
Seas and oceans. Water, water everywhere, nor any drop to drink. This is a line from a famous poem. In the poem, a man is floating on the ocean. He is thirsty, but he cannot drink the water. It is very salty, and it would kill him. The water of Earth's oceans and seas, and some large lakes, is very salty. The causes of the oceans and lakes' salinity is complex, but one cause is Earth's rivers bringing water from the land. The river's water contains dissolved salts, especially sodium chloride, NaCl. The sun can cause the ocean's water to evaporate, but salt will not evaporate. It stays in the water. There are 5 oceans: Atlantic, Pacific, Arctic, Indian, and Southern. Actually, these oceans are all connected and sometimes called the world ocean. Seas are usually parts of the oceans. In some cases, like the Mediterranean Sea or the Red Sea, the connection, called a strait, is very narrow. Within the oceans, the water is moving like a river. These oceanic rivers are called currents. There are many currents in Earth's oceans. Some are warm and some are cool. One of the most famous currents is the Gulf Stream. It is a warm current that affects the climates of eastern North America and western Europe. At the poles, the seawater is frozen, but as Earth's climate changes, this frozen water is melting. As it melts, the sea level will rise, and that will be a problem for millions of humans who live near sea level. Cities on the seacoast will be flooded.
Rivers and lakes. All the rivers run into the sea, yet the sea is not full. Why? The answer is something we call the water cycle. The seas and oceans are like a huge reservoir of water. Water evaporates into the air to become a vapor. Then in the sky, the vapor condenses to become clouds. The condensed water then precipitates as rain or snow and falls to earth. Then the water flows back to the seas. The rain falls on a wide area. The area is like a huge bowl. The rainwater runs down the sides of the bowl. At first, the water is small brooks. The brooks come together to become streams, and then the streams flow together to become a river. Some streams and rivers flow into lakes. Sometimes there is a dam on the river, and it forms a reservoir. Reservoirs are very important for towns and cities. They are the source of water for homes, businesses, and farms. In some places, reservoirs are shrinking. Large cities are growing, and they need more water. For example, Las Vegas is drinking too much, and its reservoir, Lake Mead, is getting smaller. Reservoir water is fresh water. It has very little salt. Flowing water can cause erosion. Little by little, the land is worn away. The moving waters carry small pieces of earth called silt and sand. When the rivers slow down, they deposit the silt and sand. Over many years, The rivers build rich alluvial soil, good farmland. At a river's mouth, where it meets the sea, the river builds a delta. Deltas are not very high above the sea, and they are sometimes flooded. Two famous deltas are the Nile Delta and the Mississippi River Delta.
The green biosphere. Bio means life, and so the biosphere includes all Earth's living things, animal life and plant life. The plant life is called vegetation, and most vegetation is green. Most animal life depends on vegetation. It is necessary for food. Trees, bushes, and other plants create oxygen. For human life and for all animal life, green life is essential. In some places, there is very little vegetation. These places are arid, very dry. The driest places are deserts. They are difficult places for life. The Sahara Desert in Africa is huge, and it is growing. The greenest area is the tropical rainforest. The biggest tropical rainforest is the Amazon River Basin. This huge forest and other forests are getting smaller because of deforestation. Humans are cutting them down. There is an island in the Caribbean Sea. It is a good example of what happens when forests are cut down. Almost half of the island is Haiti. It is a very poor country, and the people have cut down the forests for fuel. Now there are very few trees. The other part of the island is the Dominican Republic. It still has many trees. From the air, the border between the two countries is very easy to see. To the west is Haiti. The land is brown. To the east is the Dominican Republic. It looks quite green. With the loss of vegetation, the soil erodes and agriculture is difficult. Life for Haitians is harder, and they are becoming poor. They have degraded their environment.
Mother Nature's children. Human beings share Earth and its vegetation with other beings, living organisms. Some are very simple, like the single-cell amoeba. Some are very complex. The apes are very similar to humans physically. However, without language, the apes have not developed a complex culture like humans. Through the years, animal life has changed and evolved. The first living organisms were very simple. Scientists estimate that the first single-cell organisms developed about 4 billion years ago. The timeline below gives an idea of how Mother Earth's children developed. The animals that are physically similar to humans are mammals. Most mammals do not lay eggs. They give birth to their young, and they nurse their babies. Mammals are the newest forms of animal life on planet Earth. Life forms have come and gone in Earth's lifetime. At one time, huge dinosaurs lived on Earth. We know this because we can see their fossils, bones that have become frozen in rock. They were the kings and queens of Earth, but something happened. Many scientists believe there was a very big natural climate change, and today scientists think there is man-made climate change. As a result, many animals are endangered and may become extinct.
The human factor. Human beings have not always occupied a place in Earth's biosphere. They evolved from primitive human beings who lived about 2 million years ago. They were the ancestors of modern humans. Homo sapiens, modern human beings, evolved about 200,000 years ago. At first, they used only very simple tools, but slowly they began to develop a more complex technology. They also began to live in groups. The first Homo sapiens probably developed in Africa and spread northward to Europe and Asia. This migration probably happened as early as 100,000 years ago along the coast of Asia. The earliest evidence of modern humans in Europe is about 40,000 years old. It is estimated that humans came to the Americas from Asia about 18,500 years ago. For many, many years, early humans lived very simply, like their animal cousins. Gradually, they developed language and began to use their minds for survival. With a developing technology, humans began to establish complex living centers. From these very early migrations, humans continued to migrate, fight each other, and settle down. Earth today is an amazing mixture of peoples, cultures, and languages. But everywhere Earth's humans have developed a need for energy to make things, do things, travel, and survive. The need for energy continues to grow, and today we are faced with the fact that burning fossil fuels for energy is causing global warming. The result is climate change. The dangers to human beings and to Earth itself are great. Now there is much interest in developing renewable energy using solar, hydroelectric, and wind power. When we look into the future, there are big questions. We must now look for solutions, and you, the reader, must be part of the solution and not part of the problem. What can you do?